Alright, I've been working on the Orion conversion kit for the Ambassador. And if you're not familiar with the Orion, all it is a nebula class, but instead of using a galaxy, it is an Ambassador. Everything is pretty much the same. I started drilling out the lower windows, and I don't, with the actual Ambassador that I did, I use fibers. I really don't want to do that again. It just seems like too much work for a ship that's just going to be kind of in the periphery. Remember, all this build is for that Borg Cube back there, the wooden thing. That's the Borg Cube, and all these different ships are there to represent the Federation attack fleet of the Borg Cube. And the real center of everything is the Borg Cube. It's not so much these ships. I'm not trying to do a really awesome fleet thing. It just when I started building them, I started kind of get I don't know, carried away, but I was trying to do each one to the best of my ability. And I've been wanting to experiment with different things with working with the fiber. I've only done a little bit amount of fiber on the 350 refit. Nothing near like this. And then I've been wanting to do battle damage forever, and that's kind of how all that got started. So as I've experimented with each ship, I wanted to include different things. This project's getting a little more involved than I want to be. So when it comes to this, when I do the windows, and if I can find the upper saucer has been totally drilled out. All I have left is the lip windows around the rim, and I don't see where I set it. But the top is totally done. The bottom I started working on. I'd like to be able to get some kind of light. I gotta remember. There's not too much light in the center of it. Although I think the planetary sensor dome is illuminated, and it'll just be backlit. But if I can put some lights in there, I can even get some lights in here. If I can do that, I may be able to get away without doing fiber optics. Or maybe even, I've talked a few times about what he did with his Katinga build, is because the Katinga is a ball, he put the fibers just partially through and just left them so they point towards the center of the bulb, and then he just had an LED or two or whatever in there, and that was able to get all the lights on the outside. If I could get the fibers to bend, there's no windows on the bottom, but if this is the top, there's plenty of windows up here. If I can just get the fibers to bend towards the center and just have the center lit, I might try that. I'll try and experiment, because I don't really want to do all that much fibering on this kit, because it's just supposed to be something in the sidelines. But the rarity of the kit, it kind of justifies doing that much work, doing all the fibers for all the windows. But most people don't do all these fibers, so it seems like I'm just kind of approaching this from the wrong direction. The reason I'm using fibers is there's so little room. I don't think there's enough room for light to bounce around. But I haven't really done any experimentation. So maybe if I do some experimentation, I'm definitely going to do the fiber stud that HDA did on the secondary hull. That's perfect. It's got the perfect shape. I'll just put a light in the center or in the top or bottom, and that'll act as lighting up all the windows plus the the sensor dome. And I haven't really thought about anything as far as navs on this. The C, the conventional Enterprise C, the Ambassador, has static nav lights, which means they're constant on, except for there might be some strobes, which I don't recall or not. I'm going to do navs on this. There's navs on that. They're static, so it's really easy. I'm going to try to find some kind of cheat around doing this fiber stuff. I mean, it was fine with this, but I don't want to do another one. Maybe if I just get this one all set up, get everything going on this, and then do some other projects, work on the cube, maybe then I'll have the initiative to do fiber on this. Otherwise, I don't really want to do it. And I'll experiment with the lighting. If the lighting works, as far as doing one source and just having small studs, then that's fine. That solves that problem. And the other issue I'm having is, let me grab it. Is the Orion, same as the Nebula, has on the aft section, it has a thing that comes up that holds the sensor platform. So this being the Orion, right here is the sensor platform. And there goes the sensor pallet or weapons pallet, depends. That goes right there. And there's windows in this one, so I drilled them out and I illuminated them with just 3 LEDs in series right there. It's non-resistored. I mean, it's going to be, but it's just not yet. And this fits up on the tower. But when I put it in there, I didn't feel like the windows were getting illuminated very well. Maybe if I frost this by sanding it and the sides of the bulbs, that might work better. And then once I put crystal clear in there, it'll work better. And when I light tested the tower, I didn't have the silver in there yet. And I just lost the damn thing. Oh, here it is. I haven't tested it. I just painted it silver about an hour ago. Maybe once the silver's in there, that'll do a lot for it. But prior to the silver, I just had the black coat. The light just, these windows right here weren't being lit up. And really the only thing was a couple in here, and then these right here, so it was really disappointing. So I'm hoping that does the trick. The only other thing I could kind of think of is I could put a LED right here facing towards the back, and that would shine into all these. And then other than that, putting some fiber in there, but I mean that just seems kind of ridiculous for something so small. I mean, the light should be able to get around there enough. And I'm certainly using bright enough LEDs, so that's really not an issue. So it's a bit frustrating that it's just not really getting everywhere. But I'll do some experimentation with that, and that should be done. And then the real thing is, if you remember, I did the battle-damaged Defiant, which has no window lights, no nav lights. It's just, you know, in the middle of getting blown apart. And this one's done. That's it, other than painting and maybe some seam work. I haven't checked the seams yet and decaling, and that's it. And then the first one I started on was the 12500 Defiant that was not battle damaged. And then I went back to it. I was waiting for some parts to come in, which are, they came in today, and all it is, let's see, one-handed. There it goes. But it did open. Oh yeah. All I needed was on the port side, I needed the front, this whole assembly right here, the buzzard assembly, the whole thing, and the back. I need both of them. I need on the transparent one that's so it'll transmit light. So this came in, and I have them right here, so I can pull those out, put those in. I'm gonna have to. I think I'll put the transparent paint on the outside. Probably. I gotta think about it, because I think there's mounting points in the inside. I don't really remember. There's mounting studs that kind of get in the way, so I'm gonna have to take a look at it. I can put those in. I can seal this up, and the whole real thing is that I set this aside until those parts came in, and then I went back to the kit to play with it. And in the meantime, the CFLs came in, and I was testing those and doing some different experimentations. And I used a wall wart with an adjustable variable voltage, and I left it at 12 volts. So, and this is unresisted. Plug in here, I blew out all the LEDs except for the blinky. So I had to strip them all out, resolder them, and I'm really a bad solderer. I don't solder well at all. So I had to try to resolder it, and the tricky thing is you have to solder it well, because there's very little room in here, so the solders need to be really nice and tight and clean. And I did it all, and I got it to work. The first time it didn't really work very well. I did it again, but I wasn't confident. I thought I was going to short out. So I took a different approach, and where I get these LEDs, these really, really small SM LEDs, like, let me show you, right there is my pinky to show you the size difference. I mean, that's my pinky right there next to it. That's how small it is. It just comes in a strand, and I cut off the amount I wanted. And the problem is there's about 6 inches in between each strand, so it's just way too much room. But luckily, I didn't think it was possible. I was able to get all those extra lengths of wire crunched down where it didn't take up too much room, so it was fine. And that's why I didn't do that initially. I thought it would take up too much room. But faced with excuse me, soldering it for a third time and not having confidence in my soldering ability, this seemed to be the best approach. So I re-drilled the windows because some glue got in there because they're so damn small. I repositioned the lights. I fixed the navigation deflector light, which was never set proper. And it's not going to be 100% great because right in the center where it's supposed to be, this fiber right there goes up to this top strobe or nav light. So that's going to bump into that every single time. So it's going to be kind of a little slightly funky, but not noticeable. The only other thing is I put another coat of red on the back, and I haven't tested it, but just by looking at it from here, I could tell that the port and starboard are slightly different colors. It looks like the port is darker than the starboard, which was the opposite before. And I'm looking at it through the light. Let me set this camera down for a minute. Maybe they're pretty close. No, the starboard's too light. So you can see how more light goes through the starboard than the port. So maybe I'll put one more coat on, see what that looks like. And that's supposed to be super, super dim. I only noticed that red glow when anytime that I watch a show when it was on, and then when I rewatched it again a couple years ago, I never noticed it. The only time I noticed it when I was looking for all the different lights on the Defiant when I was going to do this, did I notice that. So it's super, super faint. In fact, there's grill work that goes over that, so that it's not a solid, it's not two red rectangles. There's this grill work that goes over that obscures most of it. And on the camera, they look way brighter than they are. The one that's on the left, the port one, that's about the brightness they both are in real life. The one on the right is, you can see the paint isn't as covering, doesn't obscure the light quite as much, but it's not blown out like it looks on camera. And that's still too bright. The one on the left is still too bright. They got to be dimmed down a bit. And then that should be done. The only other thing is I might put a red piece of transparent plastic. I might put over that. I don't really want to go that way, but I'll try it. I'll put another coat of a transparent red on there, and then I can see that I got some red right through these, so I got to drill those back out, and then I got to put blue in. I was going to do blue through the front, but it looks like it went in there pretty good. I might just do it through the back. And then I got to put another coat of transparent of light blocking right here, and then it's good. It should be sealed up. Instead of using this music wire, which is what I've been using for the smaller ships, I'm actually going to use this aluminum rod. It feels really just too light, and when I was taking the first one out of the package, I actually broke it because it's just so thin, you know. But what I like about it is that you can mount your wires right through there rather than wrapping them around like I did on here. But this is not nearly as strong. This solid core music wire is a lot stronger, but it kind of it bounces a bit, you know. So it's kind of hard to pose it, and the whole thing, which I'm not even in frame, the whole thing just bounces like that. This has rigidity to it, but it's easy to break, so that's the drawback. But I do like its rigidity, and it's easier to pose. You can bend it a lot easier. And that's it for the mini Defiance. What I have to do is button it up, do the transparent, button it up. This one's done. I was just showing you the difference. The Orion, I'm just going to mess with off and on. But what I was really doing, if I can find the lid, here it is. So when I got back into modeling a couple years ago, I bought a bunch of the cadet kits. Like, I think a lot of us did. And I didn't really know what to do with them because they were just too small to be really any interest. And I never imagined doing any kind of diorama builds or battle scenes or anything like that. So I have quite a few of these. About 10 of them just sitting around in different stages of being built. And this one's had like a bunch of paint globbed on it. Excuse me. What I wanted to do was, when I watched The Best of Both Worlds, I swear to God, I remember when they drop out of warp to intercept the fleet at Wolf 359, there is the Melbourne, just like this, just slowly going like this. I watched it last week and I didn't see that, so I don't know where I saw that, but I remember seeing the Excelsior blown up like this. So that's what this is supposed to be. I still have to put the diffusion, the light effect. If you see inside there, you see how there's that hot glue that acts as the diffusion. It's supposed to be dry brushed. Do the same thing in here. And I might put some superstructure in there, but I just really like the look of this. And this is supposed to be mounted kind of like this. And behind the Borg Cube is going to be a curved, transparent star scene. I'm not sure if I'm going to go transparent, because I'm not sure if it's going to be some kind of like nebula type thing, or just a star scene. In that case, it doesn't need to be transparent. But it's going to be curved. It's going to be about 4.5 feet tall, and it's going to be a half circle. And attached to the back, various starships that represent the battle fleet. This will be just one of them. It's designed to be in the back. I've already done the seams on it. I got to do the seams again in the saucer. But I just got to put decal. I got to paint it, do decals, and that's it. There's no nav lights. There's nothing. I want to build quite a few of these in different states. Maybe just some random nacelles, some secondary hulls. I mean, just some hulks of ships that are just totally blown up. And to do this one, it's kind of the same as the other ones. I use a combination of red and orange. I put more red in this one. But I am thinking maybe it needs another amber or two up in here. And if you look at this soldering, this is probably the best soldering job I've ever done next to this little guy. I was watching someone build something. I can't remember what they were building, but they laid all their LEDs down. They glued them all down, or affixed them in some fashion, and then they just did this little bead of solder, and everything just worked. I was so impressed. Excuse me, my throat's so dry. I was so impressed at how they were able just to touch it on there, and it just worked so well. And so I tried it with that little light bar that I made for the Orion tower, and to my surprise, it worked well. Not that I didn't think it wouldn't work. I didn't believe I had the skill to do it, but it worked really well. And so I tried the same thing as I glued these down where I wanted them. I make sure the leads matched up, positive to positive, negative to negative, and I did it, and it worked really well. So this is absolutely my best solder job. Now, what I'm actually going to do is I have my light board for the Borg Cube. I have to solder a bunch of leads onto those, and that's what I'm going to do next. Now that I have the confidence in a different way of soldering, I feel like I can approach that task. But for today, this is going to get the top put on there. I'm not going to add any more LEDs. I'm going to check out the lights a little bit just to make sure I don't need any more, because I really don't want to do any more. I want it to be more passive. Then this will be buttoned up. This will be set aside with the fleet. Nearly coated transparent paint, light block. This will be done. By the way, you can see how good the nav lights are, or not the strobes are. This I'm going to work on off and on. And then I'm not sure where I'm going to go next. Now that this came in, I have 2 more Defiants, but I don't think I want that many. Even though they're Borg busters, I don't want that many. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. I'm trying to think what direction I want to go. I think I ordered the new cadet series, the Cardassian, the Gaylord class, the Defiant, and the what's the third one there? The Saratoga. I think I ordered that one. I can't remember. I'll have to check online to see if I ordered it or not. If that comes in, I might do something with the Saratoga. I did this one before I knew they made a Saratoga in this scale, so I'm not sure when that one comes and see what it's like. I could definitely do a better job on the nacelle. Even though it's blown apart, I could definitely do a way better job than I did on this. I think what I'm going to do is get the Borg Cube wired up, and then I think I'm going to switch back to my weird constellation conversion. Actually, what else came in the mail? I'll show you this. I needed 2 new nacelles, Ambassador class for the Orion. Excuse me, I was getting close to taking the nacelles that I had set up for this one and putting it on this one, but these came in the mail, so I can build a new set of them with the lights intact. That takes a lot of work, and not so much work, but there's not much room for error. So I may wait on this. I think I might set the whole Orion kit aside for a little while, because it's kind of burning me out a little bit. But the other thing that did come in that's really cool is the Nebula class deflector, which is weird. I don't remember it being Nebula when I ordered it. I'd have to look. I don't remember Nebula's having these kind of deflectors. They're weird, but I got this for, pull this over. The fronts of this, there it goes. This is a backlit panel. This is actually part of the stand, I think, for the NX01 1350. I'm trying to think, yeah, it's part of the stand. And I put it in there and I shrunk it down. And I was looking for something that I could put in the middle, and I talked about a few different things, and I couldn't figure them out. And one of the things I was leaning towards is something like this. And then I saw this, and I like this a lot. I think I'm going to mount this right here. I really want to put a spike in the center, but that's just the wrong era. I mean, I don't think that would make sense for this era, but I think it would look really good. This might be slightly undersized, but I'm okay with it. It's supposed to be my own build anyway. I'm not following any kind of canon. The only other thing I was thinking about doing is I don't like a lot of what's on here. I think I might just put this oversized one in there and have it pushed forward. I might do that and then put this in the center. But I haven't worked on this kit in a while. I have to pull out all the navs. I blew the navs. I was trying to do something and I forgot it was resistor differently. I actually, instead of clipping on the outside where it's supposed to be on the power lead, I clipped on the inside and I blew out my navs, which is on a separate circuit. So I got to pull out my navs, redo my navs, the navs that are inside the nacelles weren't connected, so they're fine. And there's 4 nacelles, 2 on each side. I have to fix this pylon. My kids were playing ball in the garage and they knocked it down, which isn't that big of a deal. It's just kind of the pain to make sure it's straight. I took a lot of care to make sure it was straight to itself. That's it. Then it's never been primered, so all my different putty work might not be that good. And then there's control rooms for these hangar bays. The way that I did them, it's really not very clean at all. And I don't want to pull it out. I'm kind of okay with it being sloppy because that was the best of my abilities at the time. I think what I like to do instead is what I've heard a few people do is when they cut windows out of starships, like there's one guy who's doing a Gaylord class Cardassian cruiser, and his windows got kind of oversized. He was having some issues with some drill bits or something. So they're oversized. So he's getting some templates made from Don's Light and Magic, or from Lou Aztec Dummy. And he's going to put them over there, and then he's going to do his primer and all his paint, so that when the window masks come off, it'll bring down the side because the window masks are smaller than his oversized holes. So I'm thinking about doing something like that, not contacting Lou, but they're just simple rectangles. Put 2 rectangles in each one, spray a coat over it, and that should clean it up really nicely. There's not too much detail on the inside of the landing bay control room. It's just backlit in red, and then the landing bay itself has some decals. In this one there's a lit cargo bay all the way back, like in the refit on the motion picture. This one's got a hallway. You can see how sloppy. The red is all bleed. I was trying some different methodologies, and it ended up being really sloppy. I don't want to rebuild it. And that's it. So I'll probably switch back to this. The only thing I forgot is my Enterprise D battle section. Here it is. This is actually going really well. I primered up the fiber optics to see how bad the trench is. I think I need to get some more Bondo spot putty. And I'm not sure if I'm going to use it. I've heard it can react to plastics, which I've actually seen. But I don't know how it's going to work with fiber. If you remember, I just trenched out the fiber, put it in there. Instead of having a top and bottom nav light on either side, I just have one pointing back, like a tailpipe. That's enough detail. I'm not going to go any further than that. I just have to cover it up with Bondo. And then the only thing that's going to be hard is replicating the phaser strip on either side. And that's the only thing that's complicated. Well, that and nicking the fiber itself. I'm concerned that I'm actually going to nick the fiber. But that's it. I also mentioned that this battle light that I got it from Don's Light and Magic, and I was a little concerned that the quality was kind of like weird. It's not from Don's Light and Magic, it's from Federation Models. And Don's stuff I've never seen an error in any of the stuff he's ever sent me. This isn't bad, this is good. It just didn't seem the same quality as Don's stuff, so I was a little weirded out that it came kind of, I don't want to say half-assed, but almost half-assed, but this isn't his stuff. His stuff's way cleaner than this. This is Federation Models. It's still pretty good. I'm not bitching about it. I'm just saying it's just not Don's quality, but it's still pretty good. That's it for now. I'll catch you later. Thanks.